Hello viewers, welcome once again to Mickey Math Class, a place or a channel where mathematics is demystified and made easy. Alright, today we'll be looking at addition and subtraction of surds. Now, before we can add or subtract surds, the surds must be similar surds. For example, I cannot add root 2 and root 3 because these surds are not similar. Even though they are in their basic form, they are not similar. I cannot add them, I can only multiply them. Root 2 and root 3. So when you are adding surds, they must be similar surds. Now, example, let's take example. For example, you might be asked to add, example 1, you might be asked to add a surd root 32 plus 3 root 8. Root 32 plus 3 root 8. Now, these surds, even though this is 32, this is 8. The first thing, before I add it, I must break them down to find out if they are similar surds. If they are similar surds, the addition can take place. If not, I cannot add them. So let's simplify, just like we have done before. We'll break down root 32. Root 32 can be broken down. Remember in our last class, we talked about breaking it down into factors that you can take the square root. Now 32 can be broken down into 2 times 16. Because 16 is a perfect square and I can take the square root of 16. So this is the same thing as root 2 times root 16. So square root of 16 is what? 4. That's 4 root 2. I've ended up putting this surd in its basic form. The next one, I have my 3 root 8. So 3 root 8. Let's break down root 8. Root 8 is the same thing as, I have my root 8. Root 8 is the same thing as 2 times 4, which is equal to, I can take the square root of 4, which is 2. This is root 2 times root 4. So square root of 4 is what? 2 root 2. I've broken down root 8 in its basic form. Now look at this first one. Root 32 in its basic form is 4 root 2. Root 8 in its basic form is 2 root 2. Now they are similar surds, so I can add. So I put the value, so therefore root 32 plus 3 root 8 is equal to, this is 4 root 2. Now take note, this 3 is still there, don't make the mistake of omitting it. The 3 is still there, so plus 3 times 2 root 2. So this is 4 root 2. 3 times 2, that's 6 root 2. Don't confuse yourself. This 2 root 2. This 2 is outside, multiplying to this number here, that's 6. 6 root 2. Now let's add them together. That means this is 4 plus 6 root 2. So 4 plus 6 is what? 10. That's 10 root 2. I've ended up simplifying the surds, adding the surds together. I can also have a scenario where you can be asked to subtract the surds. Let's take an example. Where you are asked to subtract the surds. I can have an example, for example, root 7 or 7 root 3 minus root 75. 7 root 3 minus root 75. Okay, question like this, 7 root 3 minus root 75. This one is already a surd in its simplest form or in its basic form. So let's break down root 75. So root 75 can be broken down to be 25 times 3. 25 times 3, which is the same thing as root 3 times root 25. So square root of 25 is what? 5. That's 5 root 3. I've ended up splitting root 75 to 5 root 3. Now let's merge them together. So this is 7 root 3 minus 5 root 3. Now the constants that are in front of the surds is what you subtract. So this is 7 minus 5 root 3. 7 minus 5, that's 2. 2 root 3. Okay, that's all about addition and subtraction of surds. Take note, they must be similar surds before you add them. I cannot add or subtract surds that are not similar surds. And if they are not in their basic form, before I carry out addition or subtraction, I must make sure they are in their basic form. Thank you for listening. And remember, keep practicing. The more you practice, the better you become. You can take other exercises and solve more on surds. Okay, let me give you one. You can combine 3 root 48 minus root 75 plus, okay, let's say 3 root 12. You can use it as your take-home fun. Solve it and see you in the next class. Have a blessed time.